Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Jessica Brodie, and this is Shining the Light. You know how everything on your body can feel just fine, but then you get one small injury and it's completely debilitating? Adventures in hiking with Jessica continues. So we've said before, I am not the most athletic person in the world, but I do love hiking. And so about a week ago, I went hiking with my mom and my sister and my husband and all of our kids and my niece. And partway through our hike, my daughter and my niece got horrible blisters. So trying to be good moms, my sister and I sat down, took off our socks, traded socks with the girls because they apparently had chosen fashion and wore these itty bitty little socks that didn't even come up past their heels, and so they had horrible blisters. And so we decided to be nice and take the faulty socks, and they wore our far less fashionable socks, but that covered their blisters. And somehow setting my backpack down or sitting on the log or something, some bug that I am atrociously allergic to crawled up and not only bit me maybe 100 times all the way in a ring around my waist, but I had some crazy allergic reaction because apparently I always do this. And so other people got bites. I ended up getting this horribly severe reaction. My whole back was just swollen. I had hives and blisters, and it was just awful. And it was just from this tiny little bug that I couldn't even see. I don't even think I felt it bite me. But for at least a week, I was in agony. I had to take prednisone, and I couldn't sleep at night. And it was from a bug bite, something that is so tiny that shouldn't have been able to best me, but it did. It ruined the week. It was awful. For those of you who don't know me, I have always been a really huge social justice fanatic. I grew up in Miami, Florida, so multiculturalism is just my love language, and I grew up just surrounded by a swirl of other languages and other cultures, and so that's very natural and normal to me. And so whenever I see injustices going on when it comes to race or anything like that, I take it as a personal affront. But caring about something and experiencing that something are often two very different things. I was reading in Paul's letters to the Corinthians this week, and something hit me about this. In 1 Corinthians 12, he says, Christ is just like the human body. A body is a unit and has many parts, and all the parts of the body are one body, even though there are many. We were all baptized by one Spirit into one body, whether Jew or Greek, or slave or free, and we were all given one Spirit to drink. Certainly, the body isn't one part, but many. And he goes on about this, and then in verse 26, he says, if one part suffers, all the parts suffer with it. If one part gets the glory, all the parts celebrate with it. You are the body of Christ and parts of each other. If one part suffers, all the parts suffer with it. So this week, I got a bug bite. One part of my body suffered. All the rest of the parts of my body suffered with it. The rest of my body was not bitten. The rest of my body seemed perfectly fine because that one part hurt. Everything else was affected. Because that one part hurt, I had to go to the doctor. I had to take allergy medicine for more than a week. I didn't sleep well because that one part suffered. The rest suffered. So watching the news this week and seeing the protests, we have had racism, systemic racism in our culture for centuries, since time began. This is not a new problem. This is something that we have struggled with since the beginning of time. And yet, sometimes we look at what's happening in society as though it's separate from us. We see a lot of them and a lot of others. And why are they getting so riled up? And why are they reacting this way? And why are they looting? But they is us. We are all together in this. We have a problem in our culture and we're all hurting. When we have kids dying of malaria in Africa, that's us too. When we have people in Italy dying of coronavirus, or people in New York City dying in our nursing homes, that's us too. And when we have groups of people systematically discriminated against, systematically exiled, systematically beaten down, that's us too. All of this is everybody's problem. Watching the news can be unsettling. I find myself sad, angry. It hurts to watch what's going on in our nation, and it should hurt. We should be hurting right now. We should be feeling sadness and pain, and we should be speaking out about it. When we hear of a racial injustice occurring, that's not a time to be silent. It's a time to speak and love. It's a time to reach out and live like we truly do have Christ in our hearts. As Paul wrote, if one part suffers, the whole body suffers. So let's remember that. That's all for this week, friends. I hope you'll check out my website at jessicabrodie.com. Connect with me this week on social media. And until next week, keep on shining the light.